Welcome back to Winning the Game of Life. I'm your host, Chhabra. I'm very excited today because I got a very special guest and a friend here. His name is Janel, and he is the president of PR Leads, prleads.com. And he's a best-selling author, internet marketer, and he have done more things than I want to tell myself. So let us welcome to the guest. Welcome, Dan. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Shawn. It's a pleasure to be here. I look forward to helping you and serving your listeners. Thank you for having me.
Very good. So before we go too much deep into the business and services you sell, how about you tell us a little bit, because some of our listeners and viewers may not be aware of your website or you. So how about you start with a little bit of your personal background?
Sure. Well, when I was a little kid, I always wanted to write the great American play. No, not the great American novel, the great American play. So I thought if I went to journalism school, I'd become a reporter and work for newspapers, and I meet lots of interesting people and get lots of controversial ideas and turn those into wonderful plays. Well, I went to Northwestern University and I got my degree in journalism, and I worked for newspapers, and I was a business newspaper editor and a political reporter, and I won a couple of awards. But I tell you, it was boring. I didn't get any really great stories, but one thing leads to another. So I went into the wonderful world of public relations. I actually interviewed a guy who was a PR guy, and the next thing I know, he offered me a job, and he was doing a lot of PR for the computer industry, right at the beginning of the dawn of the personal computer era back in 1980s. So I worked on a number of early PR accounts, the K-Pros, Commodore. I was on the PR team that launched America Online, and one thing leads to another. I started my own PR firm, and I wrote a book. It was really the first book about marketing on the internet back in 1993. That's when Al Gore and I were like the only people online. And again, one thing leads to another. So I wrote the book, and that led to me speaking at Berkeley. I taught the first internet marketing class at Berkeley. I taught internet branding at Stanford, and it led to speaking engagements literally around the world, from Beijing to Budapest, all over Canada, Mexico, even Rio de Janeiro, and of course the United States. But the funniest thing that happened is, I like to bicycle, and I was out bicycling back in 2001, and it was like a beautiful Saturday morning, and I was on this beautiful road, and I was marveling at how well the road was constructed and how it was a little slanted and so that the water would run off, it would rain, and a little bit of ruts so you have good grip on your tire. And as I was thinking, I was in the perfect place, the perfect time. All of a sudden, my bike just upended on me and threw me off. Unfortunately, it threw me into the grassy strip on the away from the traffic. But I broke my elbow and I broke my wrist. And I think, what am I going to do? It's August of 2001. I have to make a living, and I can't get on a plane, and I really can't get dressed, and I couldn't buy a tie or put on a belt. And but I realized that I've been speaking about this service called ProfNet, which puts reporters in touch with experts who are writing stories, and a little matchmaking service. So I had permission to resell that service, but I never really did a whole lot with it because I was making so much money as a speaker. Well, here I am. I'm lying on the road. We're off the road with my broken arm and my broken wrist, saying, what am I going to do? And I thought, well, if I sell 5 of these subscriptions a month, I can pay the mortgage. Well, what happened in September of 2001? Well, we all know what happened at the World Trade Center. Now, suddenly, the whole world is in chaos. I can't get on a plane because there are no planes. Everyone is canceling my speaking engagements because everyone's afraid to get on a plane or go to conferences. So I said, well, I better sell these PR leads things. That's what I called the service, PR leads. So I sold 5 of them the first month to friends of mine, and I sold 10 the second month, and I sold 15 the third month. And then I raised the rates, and suddenly by February of 2002, I realized, hey, I'm in the PR leads business.
Wow.
And thank you. And it's been 15 years. We just celebrated our 15th anniversary of using the subscription-based business, where we basically charge people every month, just like a gym membership. And I have to tell you, if you're taking notes here, this is the point you want to write down. is like, subscription businesses are great because people pay them month after month after month, and every day for the last decade, I wake up and I go to my computer and I turn it on, and they're like 2 orders, 3 orders, 5 orders, 10 orders, just recurring orders coming into that mailbox and going into my bank account every single day. And I got to tell you, there's no greater feeling in the world than starting the day with a couple $100 in your bank account. And I have to thank my lucky stars, because when I talk to real people and find out that they wake up in the morning and they don't have a couple $100 coming into their bank account every single day, and they have to say like, "Oh my God, what am I going to do to make money today?" Ooh, that's rough. So as you're starting your business, think about what you can offer on a recurring basis, like a gym membership, like your newspaper subscriptions. They just roll over every single month, and people like to pay those things too. I mean, you pay your garbage bill every single month. The garbage people don't call you up and say, "Hey, would you like to renew your garbage service this month?" Or "Would you like to get your electricity turned on again this month?" No, they just charge you and you pay it. That's the kind of business you want to be in.
Well, first of all, I would like to congratulate you on the 15 years of the same business,
Well, thank you. I've had to reinvent myself a little bit along the way, and there are some spin-off businesses that come when you start a business too. But when you consider that most businesses, well, I don't believe the statistic, frankly. Everyone says, new businesses fail within 6 months. I don't buy that at all. I think that some people should never be in business. But people who have a brain on their head, who know how to run a business, you can do quite well. Especially today, because when I started my business, my PR business really started like close to 30 years ago. I needed a computer, I needed a laptop, I needed a printer, I needed a fax machine, if you can believe it. You had to have a modem, but for $5,000 to $10,000, you could set up a nice home office, which is what I had. $50. It's equipped with a modem, with Wi-Fi, whatever. Who needs a printer today? That's almost not needed. So for a couple $100, you could really start your own business. So I got to tell you, it's the only way to live, because you have time, freedom, flexibility. You choose your own clients. You set your own fees. This is the way to go, my friends.
I still want to go back to your background. Like,
okay,
you were a speaker, so you were a speaker like mostly on the marketing or something else?
Oh, sure. It was public relations and marketing, and internet marketing in particular. Remember, I wrote that book about internet marketing. So back in the 90s, no one knew about internet marketing. Today, internet marketers are a dime a dozen, and everyone is a social media expert, right? But back in 1993, 94, I mean, there were like 500 homepages.
Yeah.
It was a totally different world. So I would go to seminars and they say, "Gee, you can really market on the internet? I thought it was just for scientists and educators. I thought you couldn't sell anything on the internet." And meanwhile, LensCrafter was on the internet. And I remember when Pizza Hut went on the internet, they said, you could order pizza online. And there were hundreds and hundreds of articles that were being written in daily newspapers saying, who would ever go to the internet to order a pizza? That's the dumbest thing we ever heard. And here it is, 2015, and everyone orders a pizza online. Everyone orders their Chipotle burritos online. You make reservations for your restaurants online. You buy everything online. So it's a totally different world.
I mean, in addition to this podcasting, my other business is laptopuniverse.com. Mm-hmm. We were like a basement garage business. From there, we grew into wholesale and everything. Mm-hmm. But we have done like close to, I think, over $50 million business, just selling laptops and used parts and iPads and iPhones just online.
Great, and just from your home?
No, now we are not home based. Like we got a couple of big warehouses. But selling over 50 million require a lot of warehousing and things like that.
I was thinking you had a really big house, but you're a successful guy. That's great.
But I grew out of my a garage. I
Fantastic.
Started there.
Yeah.
So me and my wife basically. We started with me and my wife, but now we got a dozen people working around here and there.
Fantastic. Congratulations. You see, America is a great place of opportunity. My PR business, I had to train people on how to do PR, so I was doing teleseminars. And again, this is like 2001. Today everyone has a bridge line, everyone has a teleconference line, and they're all free. But in 2001, it was pretty expensive. So I started a teleseminar recording company. One thing leads to another. We're entrepreneurs here. So I need to train my clients on how to do publicity. So I did free teleseminars, and I started doing paid teleseminars. I had to do discs, right? So I found this local company to do discs. Well, these people are like Vietnamese immigrants. They work out of their house. They're duplicating equipment is all in their basement, and I just call them up or drive to their office and drop off my discs, and they call me back a couple hours later and say you can pick them up and get 50 discs, 100 discs, and they're making a small fortune. So I went down to their basement one day, and they're just not doing like 50 or 100 discs for me. They're doing like 10,000 discs for Northwest Airlines.
Wow.
and 50,000 discs for a Medtronic conference or something like that. It was like, but just normal people, you wouldn't think anything about them, and they're running a great little business.
So now everything has changed. Like you don't need to burn those DVDs and CDs, and
No.
people even don't have players for those. And how over the like last 15 years, what kind of like changes you have seen just because of the growth of social media and all that? It's really helping your business, or your business is dying because of that? Which way is going, up or down?
Well, there's an old saying, when you close a door, you open a window, or one thing always leads to the next thing. And it may not be a direct line either. So, the PR business, again, it led to my teleseminar business, and that turned into like a 6-figure business within 13 months. And that lasted about 8 years. And then all these free services came along, and, that killed that business. In fact, I had I had one client stay with me until the end of last year. He was from Germany, so he just wanted to offload all the work, which was fine. And it was like, an hour a month I'd interview him, and it was fun. But everything comes to an end. And I think that's what one of my financial planners told me. He said, nothing ever goes down to zero, and there are always new opportunities. And I think that's a key word here. But one thing leads to another. So basically, my core business is providing publicity services to companies. So we do press releases, we do the PR leads thing where we sell media databases. So we basically buy from the big guys, and because we buy in bulk, we get discounts. We can pass those discounts along to our clients. So that's good. So PR is a good business, but in this age of social media, there are other ways to reach your intended audience, because that's the whole purpose of publicity. Number one is branding, which is great. It's great when a major newspaper writes about you or you appear on TV. That's good for your branding, and it leads to sales in the long term. But social media is much more direct. So I've learned how to do advertising on social media with Facebook and LinkedIn, and it is amazing. I mean, Facebook, I went to his Facebook seminar. It was hosted by Facebook a couple of weeks ago here in Minneapolis. It's called Boost Your Business, which is a great name for a service, I think. And they told us how they advertise, and it's not terribly difficult. There's some, just like anything else, it looks easy until you get into it. But I learned how to do that. And the crazy thing about Facebook is that they can target your exact audience. So if you're looking for women between a certain age and a certain income, who have a certain educational level, who like certain hobbies or certain authors, or move to a certain area within a certain period of time, you can target your message to them. So if you're a realtor, this is fantastic. Frankly, if you're anyone, it's fantastic, because you could even upload a database of your emails, of your client emails, and Facebook will figure out what those people have in common and then send your ad to people who have those same characteristics. I mean, this is scary, but it's also kind of scary good.
That is a very good feature. Like, you can profile your good customers and upload those and give their email or whatever information to create a custom list with Facebook. And the good part is Facebook will find similar people with the same profile. They are literally almost your customer. You haven't just reached them.
Exactly. It's again, it's scary how much they know about everyone. But everyone goes on Facebook and they say, oh, I like these movies, I like these television shows, I like these businesses, I like this kind of food, I went to this university, my major was this major. So they know so much about you. They know your birth date. Most people, every time you sign onto Facebook, it says today is so and so's birthday. You say, oh, that's great. Well, they know how old you are. So they know where you live, so they know, by your zip code how much money you make, the kind of house you live in. If you move, they know that you changed your address. So it's really kind of uncanny how you can really target your market there. So you asked how my business is changing. Well, I am still doing the PR services because people still need them, but I can see where that is getting a little old and people will be looking for something new. So you got to move with the times. You got to see, Dan Kennedy is a great marketer, very famous marketing guy, runs seminars, has written a number of best-selling books. Dan Kennedy is his name. Highly recommend you buy his books, like $25 at a bookstore, $10 at a bookstore. It's great stuff. But he basically says you want to find a stampede of clients and stand in front of them. So, don't go crazy trying to think about gee, what is the next big thing? The next big thing is already out there. It's pretty obvious to see what it is. You just have to stand in front of it with a product or service that meets their needs, and they'll run all over you. So this is, I think this Facebook advertising is pretty much in that same line. They are telling you what people are looking for, and you can market to them. And the same on LinkedIn, too. You can really do a lot of targeting there, too. So that's where I'm spending my time, is to learn how to do it, help my clients do it, and in fact lead some seminars locally and teach people how to do it as well.
I mean, not only to reach your customers or prospects, even if you want to reach the influencers in your industry. For example, I wanted to reach you, but I have to almost become an influencer, then only you will talk to me. So people can write the books, they can do the podcast, they can be in the media taking your help. All that I think changes the persona, and as Dan Kennedy says, you have to be up front there. So you have to become like a celebrity, I think. And I think your services are very good for achieving that goal.
Yeah, they do, because we can build brands around people. But I heard this great line the other day. I wish I remember who said it, because it is really great. He said, in an airport, no one is a celebrity.
Wow.
And what that means is that you could be president of the American Bar Association. You come from your conference, and everyone is kissing your butt, and you have the best seats, and everyone wants to talk to you because you're the president of the association. You go to the airport, no one knows who you are. So what I mean by this is quite simply that you could be the best dentist in your town. You could be the best realtor for people who are buying $1 million houses in your town, or getting their first house, or job recruitment for people who are at a certain level. Doesn't matter what that level is. You can own that position, because every position can be owned. And a lot of people just don't even realize that. So they just go out and they do the same thing that everyone else is doing, and they're just one of a million people doing the same thing, and they don't stand out. When you reach prospects, they say, why should I work with you? And you say, there's really no difference between me and anyone else. That's bad. You don't want to be in that position. You want to build your brand, you want to build your profile, so that you are the first person people think of. And think about it in your town. If your kid needed a dentist or a doctor, don't you know that every other mother in town say, oh, go to Dr. Smith because she's great, or whatever. There's one person that everyone just knows. You want to be that one person, and the media can help you get there, and now advertising can help you get there as well.
Okay, I was reading something about you, I think online somewhere this morning, and I kind of noticed that lot of your clients or their businesses were either featured, or those were seen in the all major media and major media websites, and like a newspaper and other publications like magazines. So would you like to tell us a little more about that? Because some of our prospective readers and viewers and listeners may be interested in those. Maybe it can help them.
Sure. Thanks. I'll be happy to tell you about those. We have services that, for any kind of professional, any kind of service provider, your local newspaper wants to know about you, and sometimes the major media does as well. And we can put you in touch with those people in a number of ways. Number one, we have media lists for your hometown or your state or the whole country in your specialty. So you can reach out to all those media and let them know that you're available to be interviewed, that you have opinions and stories and ideas, you have new products and services, because that's what they write about. So that's number one. That's our media lists. Number two is press releases. And press releases are written written documents that go to the media, and we have a specialized way of making sure that those press releases are printed on more than 100 major media websites, so you can go back and say, I was featured in the Associated Press or the Miami Herald or the Boston Business Journal. I mean, clearly recognizable newspapers and magazines and even television stations that have websites. So we actually guarantee that you'll get 100 media placements that you can use in your marketing materials. And our flagship service has always been that PR lead service. That's where we get requests from reporters who are writing articles, and they need to speak to thought leaders or experts, or sometimes just real people who are doing real things. So it could be people who've lost a lot of weight, or realtors looking at trends for real estate investment, or financial planners giving advice to people on how to retire or how to save money for their kids' education, or general business ideas. How do you buy a business, sell a business, market a business, hire and fire people? Virtually anything you see in a newspaper, we get a request from a reporter to interview people on. Some of my new clients, one woman wrote a book about the middleman economy, about how you work with intermediaries to buy and sell products and services. Another client is an expert on intuition, so she teaches business people how to trust their gut when they're hiring people or making business decisions. And others are realtors or doctors or plastic surgeons who, one of my best clients is a rheumatologist who provides advice on fibromyalgia and workouts and training, and it's all over the board. It's I can hardly think of anyone who wouldn't benefit from this service.
Okay, like large percentage of my listeners and viewers, they are maybe not in the business, they are trying to get into business. So what's your advice to them, like in this today's market and economy and technology? Like, you recommend them to get in the business or look for the job? And if in the beginning you was talking about some recurring income and all that, so in my head I'm just trying to think like how you will answer this so that it really help somebody.
Okay, so if you're starting a business, what should you be doing? Number one, you should be doing something that you really, really like. The absolute worst thing you could do is build a wonderful big business that you hate. I mean, if you hated selling computers, or if you were allergic to the arsenic in the computer boards, the motherboards, this would be an absolutely horrible business for you to be in, even if you were selling $15 million worth of computers a year. So you have to think about, what do you love? And of course, there's this book out that says, do what you love and the money will come. No, I'm not saying do that. You have to make sure there's a market for that service. Now, if you're in a business now, like let's say you're an accountant and you're doing taxes, well, you can do that under your own shingle. That's easy. Let's say you're working for a company and you're the hiring manager, you're the HR person. Well, you can do that for other companies. There are placement firms that you could start your own. And believe me, I know that because I have a lot of my clients who are solopreneurs who are doing exactly that. They did what they did in the corporate world. They're just doing it for themselves. In fact, one of their first clients may be the company that they worked for. So before you leave your job, don't burn any bridges. See how you can work with them as a consultant. Look through your Rolodex at your work and see who are you working with now who could become a client for your new service. So that would be a great place to start and find your business and find out what you really are qualified to do, what you like doing, what's fun for you, what's easy for you. Those are some of the things I'd say are important when you're starting to find which business you should be in.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm really thankful to you for coming to the show, but we are very close to the end of the show. Is there any last minute advice you would like to give to my listeners?
Sure. There's never been a better time to start a business. I mean, I started my business, I hate to say this, I can't believe it's been 30 years, but it's 30 years. And I started it when I was actually fired. As great as I am, I was actually fired. I took the wrong job. Let's just put it that way. It was a bad fit from day one, and 90 days later, they let me go. But that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I could have gone back to work for another PR firm. I was 27 years old, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, you should start your own business. And I said, well, what happens if it doesn't work? He said, well, you can always get a job for another PR firm. There are always going to be PR firms out there. They're always going to be hiring people. There's no problem there. So if you fail, you just get another job. But if you make it, then you're in charge of your own life. You make your own hours. You determine how much money you want to make. You want to go on vacation, you go on vacation. You want to sleep late one day, you sleep late one day. You want to take Friday off, you take Friday off. You have your own life. And thankfully I listened to him because I've never had to look back. So I started my business. I had about 6 months worth of income in the bank. So if I didn't make any money, if I didn't sell anything, I could still pay the rent, I could still buy food, I could go out on a couple of dates. I wasn't going to be hurting, but I had 6 months to make it go. And you pick up a client here, you pick up a client there, and suddenly I had 6 months, I had 9 months of living, then a year's worth of living, and then a couple of years worth of, then I haven't even thought about it in years, to be honest. But one thing happens and it just grows. So if you have the passion, if you like helping people, if you want to serve people, the money will come. So this is a great time to start a business.
Wonderful. So this is like before we say bye to the listeners and viewers, I would like to ask, what links you want me to put on my website and in the videos and podcast, so that my listeners and viewers can reach you?
Great, thank you for the opportunity. Let's use one site. It's prleads2profits.com. prleads2profits.com, and that'll have an overview of all of my services, and from there you'll be able to branch off and link to whether the media databases or the press releases or the Facebook advertising service or my coaching as well, coaching and consulting. We'll all have links from the prleads2profits.com.
I think I will wait for a few months to see the feedback from my listeners and viewers, and I think for the kind of listeners and viewers I'm targeting, they are entrepreneurs. They are mostly small businesses, maybe some big businesses, a lot of women-owned businesses. Maybe I'll see if you're available. Maybe we'll do some webinar to show them your services and the possibilities of you helping them grow.
That would be great. If you knew which vertical markets they were in, I could prepare some case studies for you that show how people just like them have benefited. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Hey guys, go to my website and tell me what you want, what kind of industry you are, what will help you, so that I bring the right kind of well-aligned coaches and services to you guys. So subscribe to my program, go to the website, contact me. You can send me a voicemail from there. Just click and record and tell me what you want. I can just hear and try to reply here, or just type your message. So that way your cause and my cause will be more aligned. Thank you for listening and watching. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Do not throw that old phone away. Your trash may be hidden gold. We want your old device and will pay top dollar for it. Our process is as easy as 1, 2, 3. We offer no obligation sales. If you have a problem with the price that we gave you, we will return the device to you at no charge. Fast payment, free shipping, free data wipe, risk-free transaction. Buybackqueen.com.